You both think the consumer is pretty strong. So what happened, do you think, with these retail sales numbers, Liz?
Yeah, I mean, auto was clearly the weakness. And I think the consumer is fine. They're in great shape. But it's really, to your point, a very mixed bag. There are sectors that are underperforming quite a bit. Department stores, I think, continue to underperform. And really, most of the mall.
Mm-hmm. And Erin, you're saying that the consumer is getting mixed messages. What do you mean?
Exactly. So I think that right now we just have a lot of political chaos going on, and there's a lot of activity based on tweets on both sides. And the consumer is kind of mixing up that politics with the true fundamentals of where the economy is and how strong we actually are.
So do you really think that they're paying that close attention to the political noise and that is affecting what they're doing, whether they're going to the mall? It's chilling them somehow?
Well, it's not affecting them at the mall. Well, at the mall in particular, it is. But at the clothing stores and at the, the typical what we think of as retail, it's really not affecting them too much. The bigger purchases with auto, et cetera, that's where they might shutter back a little bit. But in reality, everybody is fully employed, best employment pretty much in our lifetimes, and they're still spending. So it's really a strong situation. I do think that people have just become almost addicted to chaos.
Mm-hmm. In terms of the stock performances, though, we've seen some stocks richly rewarded for executing well, Walmart and Target, for instance, and others who are just absolutely punished. And you say department stores are uninvestable. But in terms of the Walmarts, the Targets of the world, the ones that have been rewarded, many would argue that their valuations are rich. They're full at this point. Do they deserve a higher valuation from here?
Yeah, I mean, I think the valuations are full. And if we look forward and think about what's happening on the manufacturing front and, the Beige Book, I just heard the last segment, you discuss all the cracks in the economy, it's not a foregone conclusion that the consumer continues to be strong. So there are certainly some concerns, and with valuations where they are, I think you have to be cautious. I still think there are some names that are, like Target, for instance, throwing up the best numbers that they've had in a decade, and still relatively reasonably valued. I think Walmart might be a little stretched. So I think you have to be really selective. And I do think that if we continue to see a deterioration in the economy, then you do have to be worried about a correction.
What about the holiday season in general, which, and especially this year, feels like people wonder, is everybody going to emerge from it? I mean, the weak players, especially in the mall, is this a do or die moment for them?
Well, it is a very Darwinistic type of situation in general in retail, and that will shake up even more come holiday season. So Q3 numbers in retail, it's not that we don't pay attention to them, but it's not ever our strongest quarter. So coming into Q4, it is make it or break it. So if some of those mall brands that have been struggling continue to struggle through holiday.
Does that mean... So if I'm just thinking through this, if I'm them, are they doing discounting? I mean, how is that going to ripple through the sector for players if it's a Gap or whomever, some of the teen brands that we know? Look, Forever 21 just filed for bankruptcy. So what, as each of these players try to hang on, what impact is that going to have on everybody else?
Well, I think that the traffic is just down. It's not even, sometimes they're offering discounts, sometimes they're playing to the dollar, and people still are just not frequenting them in their spaces. They're going automatically to Amazon, to Walmart, to Target, to the big players that are really winning in this type of situation. They're starting to shop more on Instagram and all of these other new mediums. So it's not that people are necessarily shopping around even at those Macy's, Bloomingdale's, et cetera. They're kind of just forgetting about them.